Welcome to Daily Discussions, where we discuss different relationship topics as well as give you guys advice on it. And in today's segment, we are going to be talking about how we met, as well as getting into what these discussion topics are going to break down into. So if you're ready for this, then let's get started.
So as you guys can see by the title, we're 19 and married.
And we really wanted to start discussing this type of topic because it's prominent to us and quite obvious to most people that our generation struggles with relationships. Now, I'm not saying we're the perfect couple because technically nobody's a perfect couple, but I'd say we know a thing or two and we're doing pretty good. So we have to be able to give you guys a good amount of information on what we do. And hopefully that helps you in your love life, dating life, whatever it may be. We hope in the future, and that could start now, that you guys comment down below things that you would want us to discuss revolving relationships. And we're also teen parents, so if you have any type of parenting advice you would want, then you could ask that too. But we're gonna start off with dating because that's the first step in any type of relationship. We wanted to start off by letting you guys know our story because you don't know who you're getting advice from if you don't know our channel personally. So we're gonna get started with how we met. So I saw Danny on a mutual friend's page and I was like, oh, he's kind of cute. And so I went into the comments and clicked on his username and requested to follow him because at the time his page is private. It still is, but yeah, we both had private pages, so we had to request to follow each other. I don't know why, but I just wasn't sure if he was going to allow me to follow him, so I put it in and I was like, we'll see how it goes. And then soon after that, it was accepted and I got really excited. I went on his page and he followed me back, so I looked through his pictures because, who doesn't stalk in the beginning? You know what I'm saying? So.
Oh, I did my research too. No.
So I went through a couple of his pictures and I was like, okay, like that one, ooh, like those lips. I felt like I couldn't be too flirty because I didn't want to come off as every other chick. So I went ahead, liked a couple pictures, and then I liked a to be honest picture. I'm like, all right, if he gives me a to be honest, because that was like the thing during that time, giving people to be honest.
Yeah, that was the trend on Instagram.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, if he gives me one, because we're strangers, so if he gives me one, I know what's up. So I let that sit there. I let it simmer, you know what I'm saying? And then
it didn't simmer for long. So when I seen that she liked the picture, I looked through her page a little bit and I recognized her from school, and
yeah, we went to the same school.
Yeah, and so when I seen her page, I recognized her, and I was like, wow, this girl is beautiful. And I remember when I saw her at school, I thought the same thing, and she looked exactly like how she looked when I saw her. And so I was like, let me go in on my to be honest. So I went in and I was gassing her up.
I know, he was saying so many things, like, you're gorgeous. So I was like, oh my goodness, nobody's ever done that for me before. Yeah. So it was honestly unexpected. Yeah, and he mentioned how, he does a little bit of art and stuff, and I'm like, oh, really? Because he complimented my art, because at the time I posted, photography and art, just, my passions at the time. And so I was like, okay, that's a good conversation starter. I see what you're doing there. So I went ahead and put my little 2 cents in about that. I asked to see some of his artwork sometime, and then that led to him being able to be like, oh, okay, well, what's your number? So we could start talking, Yeah,
we knew what we was doing. We weren't slick.
That's honestly what I loved about how we met in our relationship though, is because from the start, we had that connection. We knew what each other was thinking in a way. We just connected on a deeper level. I like that from the start we showed genuine interest in each other, and it wasn't anything sex driven or whatever. We just had a genuine connection, and we wanted to get to know each other who we are as people.
Yeah, we had nothing but deep conversations. We were really trying to get to know each other before anything serious happened or we wanted to really know what we were getting into before we started something.
And at first, it was like, we talked, and we were talking more about how are you in school and this and this. Oh, what do you like to do? Stuff like that, like just like casual conversation. But it became a thing that we were doing like every day, and we were talking all throughout the day, and our conversations just got deeper about like our families and our pasts and everything. And it became so deep, and the trust was there, and it just felt so different. Like, we communicated with each other so much different than anybody else we've ever talked to, and I could feel that. Like, it was so strong. And so we continued to talk like every day, and it became more flirty, you know, throwing like a little bit flirtatious comments back and forth. And we kept it pretty private. We didn't really talk to many people besides like a couple family members or so. Inner circle about like that we were talking to each other, because you know, people are fake and they will try to wreck your relationship before it even starts. So we just wanted to keep it on the down low, talk to each other, really get to enjoy like each other without like people like butting in and saying, oh,
we wanted to have our own little thing,
and get to know who we are as people from the source. So that's what we did. And as our conversations got deeper, we started talking about like what we like in a relationship
and what we're looking for in a person.
And like it completely matched up with like everything we wanted in a person.
And that right there was just the eye-opener that showed us that this could potentially be the one.
And that was just like a day of confession. We want to be in each other's lives, and how we don't talk to other people, like we're only there for each other, and just different stuff like that. And it clicked. Throughout us talking, I already had that strong feeling of Danny having that true, honest interest, because, you know, as a female, a lot of guys just want to get in your pants. They don't really want you. And so the fact that it wasn't just a sex-driven conversation, and we really had like deep conversation, just different things, like we really tried our best to talk to each other. I was just so excited to always talk to him. I even made him a painting of himself just to kind of show my interest more and stuff, because he knew that I was into art, and so he asked if I could paint him. And it was just so much, like it gives me butterflies thinking about it, because just so many good things added up with us talking. Like nothing felt toxic, and we decided eventually this has to be the thing. We have to be together. At this point, like we weren't talking to anybody else. We were showing that, okay, like we're interested in each other. Like we're really interested in each other aside from just being friends. We made that connection. We got to know each other, and it all happened so quickly.
So at this point, when we first started talking, I was already at the point where I was kind of like looking for something serious. I didn't want to play no more games. I know I was young, but I was starting to have that realization that like maybe it's time to start getting a little more serious and settling down.
I never had a boyfriend up until I had met Danny and we got together, because up until then I just didn't feel like anybody fit, and I didn't want the immature, like quick relationships that don't last. I wanted something real.
And back then I didn't know what I was looking for, so I just kept looking, and I wasn't finding anyone who matched how I wanted my future wife to be. Until I met her, and it was right in front of my face, and I was realizing like she's like the perfect image of what I've always wanted and what I've been looking for.
And I love that we matched up. Like we were both into art. We're both honest people. We trusted each other right away. There was just like so many things that added up with us. It was unreal. Like I really did not expect to find the dream person, but he was like my dream guy for real. Everything was just perfect, and it felt so much like a fantasy, but it was like real life, and that made it even more special.
And during this time of getting to know each other, at the time I didn't have any phone service, so I would have to go out to get some Wi-Fi. And there was a Wi-Fi connection where I was, but it wasn't strong, and sometimes it wasn't even on. So I would have to like go all the way down the street to a school that had Wi-Fi and a good Wi-Fi connection. And the thing is, it was like fall time, so sometimes it'd be really cold, and we'd be talking all night, and during the night times it was so cold. and my fingers would start to freeze like while I'm typing and stuff.
It really helped build the trust though, and it really helped show me how much he cared, because like other guys weren't gonna go through all that.
Yeah, I was putting the effort in to talk to her, because I didn't have to go out every single night in the cold dark, like
he would
in a bad neighborhood.
And I'd be like nervous. I'd be like, okay, but like pay attention. It's okay, you can go home now. I don't want you.
I'm like, we can talk a little longer.
He just did so many different sweet things for me that like other guys never did for me before. So it just built that trust and that bond even stronger, and so quick. But it was in a good way. We felt like we were best friends for years at the point of us actually starting to date. Up until then, we didn't even really know each other for very long, but we got to know each other so quickly because, like I said, we had deep conversations and we really like put it out there to get to know each other. It wasn't about, oh, let's meet up and have sex and stuff. Like we really wanted that connection first before getting into sexual stuff.
Yeah, before we even committed to each other, like in a relationship, we made sure that I was making sure that I wasn't coming off as only wanting one thing, like only wanting her for her body, because that's not what I was looking for. I was looking for like love, like I wanted something real, and I was trying to make sure I didn't come off like any of these other guys, because I wanted her to realize I was different.
And same with me, like I didn't want to come off as every other girl that like tries to hit him up and stuff, because I wasn't just about that quick stuff. I wanted something real and committed.
The chemistry
he knew
was there
everything
from the
about
start.
me. I knew everything about him. Like we kept nothing from each other, whether it was good or bad. We had everything out on the table, so there was no surprises getting into a relationship.
And it got to the point where I finally said I love you. I was really nervous about saying it though.
That's a funny one.
The thing is, it wasn't in person for one, because at this point we hadn't met up yet.
And we could only talk through text because the type of phone service he had. So we had to have a lot of trust there with each other.
And the third thing is, I was a wimp, and so I just texted her the abbreviation. I texted her the ILY.
And at first, every time he'd make me laugh and stuff, I just felt like saying I love you, and it came so natural.
And me too, and that's why I just threw it in there that day, that night.
And so that made me like automatically be like, I love you. Like I spelled the whole thing out. And then once I sent it, like right after I sent it, I'm like, oh crap, what if he meant I like you? Because it's just ILY. And I'm like, what if I scare him away? Oh no. But then, like there was
I got really excited. I sent her like
a
bunch of like heart emojis and kissy emojis, and then went from there. That's where it really started, where we realized, okay, so now we know we're both interested.
We picked a day that we wanted to like officially start dating, because it was only natural. Like it was a few days before the month ended, and so we're like, okay, well then on the 1st we're gonna make this thing official, just so we could like start every month. Like,
we didn't want
special.
We didn't want a random day, like anniversary
July
day,
23rd, like
July 27th, July 28th. We wanted something.
People with that.
We wanted something like easy to remember, and it looked good. So we're like, how about every 1st of the month will be our anniversary? So
so August 1st.
August 1st is what we chose, and there was like a week left until it was like August 1st. So we're like, okay, so in 7 days we'll make it official.
So August 1st, 2015 was the start of our love and growing bond, and we were only 15 at the time, so it was like a very big commitment, like talking about marriage and stuff when we just started dating,
and promise rings and all that.
So fast forward, I got a promise ring from Danny on my birthday, so that was about 5 months into us dating. And from there, I then got him a ring on Valentine's Day. So those were like our promise rings leading up to our marriage, and we knew we wanted to get married as soon as it was legal, pretty much. And at first we did want it to be on our actual official day of dating, but things just got in the way where we had to help family out and stuff, so we didn't have the money for it until January 17th.
And that really devastated us, because we really wanted it to be August 1st, 2018.
When we were 18.
While we were both 18. We had so much hype about August 1st, 2018 that it was such a disappointment when we had to help out family. And we didn't have enough money to do a wedding, or like we didn't have the time. Really, it was the time. We didn't have the time to do a wedding on that specific day.
And at the end of the day, we didn't really want anything like super flashy.
Yeah,
we figured if we ever want to have like a very special like big wedding in the future,
we'll do it on our own time.
Yeah,
one day in the future.
Just renew vows.
Exactly,
it's not that big of a deal. We wanted to have that legal commitment there already though, because at this point we had a kid together. We've been talking about this since we were 15. Just so many things like added up to just get married now. We're living together, and so we made that commitment, and we did have to go through a lot of hurdles in our relationship leading up to it, with like my parents becoming more okay with the fact that I had a boyfriend, because I never had a boyfriend until then.
Yeah, because like anybody who has a daughter, you don't know what to expect, and you don't know the intentions of her boyfriend. So they were strict, but I understand now that I'm older and now that we've been through all this and this is in the past. I understand that they were just looking out for their daughter and trying to protect her.
Yeah, obviously as 15-year-olds, like if you hear us saying like we love each other and we're gonna spend the rest of our life together and stuff, they're probably thinking like, you guys just started dating. This is your first relationship.
But at the time, it's because they didn't realize, because it was new to them. They didn't realize how serious we were and how committed we were, and how we knew that we wanted to be with each other for the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
But at 15, to them, and this is just puppy love. This is not gonna go any further. So let me try to like control this situation.
That's why like both of us got rings, because it just like showed our deep commitment to other people. Like sometimes we would just tell people we're already married and stuff.
Yeah,
it's like why not?
At 15 we'd be telling people.
And going through our relationship at 17, I got pregnant, so that was another obstacle that we had to get through, and honestly, we were pretty excited.
Yeah, we were really excited. We just didn't know how everyone else would be taking it, especially
the scariest
her parents.
Thing.
I think we cared more about what your parents thought than what everyone else thought.
Because we just didn't want them to look at him as a bad guy or like we messed up, and so we just really wanted to have that like approval from our family, and once we got that, like it made things so much easier.
Like a weight was just lifted off our backs, and we just felt so much better about the whole situation as a whole, because we were excited about the baby, but we weren't too excited about how they would react when they found out about the baby. But once they found out, and they were like, it started off a little bumpy. It took some getting used to, of course, because, again, we were only 17 at the time.
And I waited 4 months to tell them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was a big shocker. And so it was just a lot, but we got through that. We have a beautiful baby girl now. We have story times on this stuff on our channel, too. If you do want to see that, I'll try to link in the description box. And there's also playlists. That was crazy, but we got through that. And then, like, living together, we don't have our own place yet. We live back and forth from our parents' houses, and that's mainly for their benefit. We decided it's a good way of saving money until we are financially like really capable of having our own place.
Yeah, because this gives us a perfect opportunity to start saving. So when it does come time that we move, we have the money because we didn't have any bills to pay or this and this.
Plus, we wanted to give our family time to have our baby like with them, so that they can like see her and kind of feel like watching her grow up from a closer view. And then over time, obviously, we're gonna get our own place. We have that in the works now, and so everything's just like coming together in life. And I feel like we really did the mature thing. We grew in our relationship.
I think we set a really good example of how young couples should be.
We don't argue. Honestly, we say we don't argue. We disagree. There's a difference. Like,
because
disagreements is healthy.
Yeah, an argument is where you're constantly going back at each other,
yelling at each other, blowing
disrespecting
up,
each other,
not telling each other exactly how you feel all the time about things, and then it just like blows up. Yeah.
But what we do, we're both calm people. We're peaceful people. We don't like trouble. We don't like drama.
At the end of the day, we're individuals, so we have the moments of disagreeing on things, and that's perfectly healthy. If you guys always agreed with everything that the other person does or says, or just things in life in general, then you're hiding something about how you feel.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like I said, we're all individuals and we all have different ways of thinking. So we could match up perfectly and think alike on almost everything and have those couple things that we don't agree on. And
which is us.
we resolve it. Like, that's what we
Yeah.
do. We just talk about it, we resolve it, and we keep discussing it until it's resolved. And usually, like, one conversation and we're good. Like,
And we're good.
we got handled.
We've never ever yelled at each other, disrespected each other, put our hands on each other. None of that.
No,
We've never
for
disrespected each other or crossed the line at any point of our relationship.
And we have a daughter. We want to show her what a real relationship is and like a mature relationship.
So she
and a
knows
safe
what to look for
relationship.
when she's
Yeah.
at that point of her life where she's looking for someone to settle down with. We want to set a good example of what to look for when it comes for her time to look for someone to settle down with.
Exactly.